February 5th, 2026. You need to mark that date on your calendar right now, because it is not just another day on the schedule. It is the official end of an era for one of the most beloved cameras ever made. DJI has confirmed that service for the original Osmo Pocket will end on that specific day. That means support is shutting down. Firmware updates are vanishing. Repairs and official help will disappear. It marks the quiet, somewhat sad end of a device that changed how we vlog and capture our lives. It was that always-ready camera you could pull out of a pocket and start filming instantly. But as that chapter closes, another one is being written, and honestly, what comes next is going to make you forget about the past very quickly. All signs now point toward what DJI has been secretly preparing in the shadows. We're talking about the Osmo Pocket 4, and thanks to some massive leaks and a very specific coffee cup, we know almost everything. Finally, we have a new leaked image of the Pocket 4 camera from sources we actually trust. We aren't talking about blurry renders or fan-made concepts here. This is one of the clearest pictures we have seen among the entire set of leaked images published so far. The DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is slowly stepping out of the shadows, and this latest look changes a lot of what we thought we knew. The image was shared by Quadro News, and it shows two compact gimbal cameras sitting side by side on a table. They're just casually placed next to a takeaway coffee cup. It doesn't feel staged. It doesn't look polished or like a marketing shot. Instead, it looks like a real-world test moment. It looks like an engineer or a tester grabbing a quick coffee while putting DJI's next pocket camera through its paces. And honestly, that lack of polish is exactly why this leak feels so exciting and legitimate. When you look at the image, the first thing that hits you is the design evolution. At first glance, the most obvious change is the profile. The Pocket 4 looks slimmer. It looks more refined than the Pocket 3, with a much cleaner overall silhouette. But if you look closer, the real detail that stands out is right below the display. Two physical buttons under the LCD are now clearly visible. This isn't a surprise for those of us who have been tracking the deep rumors. We first revealed this potential button layout back in October 2025 when the Pocket 4 was spotted during a promotional shoot in Barcelona. That commercial was filmed months ago, which tells us the hardware has been ready for a while. However, a combination of regulatory pressure and the ongoing U.S. restrictions on DJI products appears to have quietly pushed the launch from the original target of December 2025 into early 2026. Now, as the launch window gets closer, the leaks are becoming more hands-on and much harder to ignore. Let's talk about the screen, because that is where the user experience lives and dies. The screen in the leak looks slightly larger than the Pocket 3's display. The difference isn't dramatic at first glance. You aren't going to see it and think of the tablet. Still, the leaks suggest DJI may be increasing the display size just enough to improve usability without changing that iconic, compact pocket form factor that fits in your jeans. When you pair a slightly larger screen with those new physical controls, this could be a massive quality of life upgrade. Think about it. Instead of relying heavily on touchscreen gestures for everything, which can be finicky when you're walking or if your hands are sweaty, users may get quicker access to zoom, focus, and gimbal movement. These are things creators have been asking for since the Pocket 2 days. From an ergonomic standpoint, the Pocket 4 feels like a natural evolution. It looks more compact, better balanced, and possibly more efficient internally. There are also strong hints regarding the internals. DJI seems to have improved battery performance and heat management. If you film in 4K, you know heat is the enemy. Better heat management would make a huge difference for longer shoots and higher frame rate recording. Sensor-wise, the Osmo Pocket 3 already set a ridiculously high bar with its 1-inch CMOS sensor. The Pocket 4 is expected to continue using a similar 1-inch sensor, possibly with a refined 2.5 centimeter equivalent spec. However, the bigger leap appears to be in video performance. While the Pocket 3 is a beast, the leaks suggest the Pocket 4 could push the frame rates even further. We are hearing rumors about it pushing into territories that would place it in a completely different category of action cameras. Stabilization remains 3-axis on both models, obviously, but the Pocket 4 is expected to deliver smoother, more intelligent gimbal performance. A larger touchscreen with a dial-style control may also replace the Pocket 3's joystick-based system, making adjustments faster and more precise. One of the most interesting details in this leak actually has nothing to do with the camera itself. It is the coffee cup. The cup in the image features Luckin Coffee branding. For those who don't know, that is a massive Chinese coffee chain with over 10,000 locations across China. That tiny detail strongly suggests the photo was taken in China, and more specifically, likely in Shenzhen. DJI's Sky City headquarters is located there, and reports mention a Luckin Coffee store conveniently close to the building. It is entirely plausible this image was captured during internal testing or just a casual coffee break near DJI HQ. This adds a layer of authenticity that is hard to fake. So, the big question is, should you wait for the DJI Osmo Pocket 4? Absolutely. The camera has already received FCC approval, meaning a US launch is firmly on the horizon. Rumors point to an official announcement between mid-March and April 2026. While conflicting specs are still floating around, one thing is clear. The Pocket 4 is shaping up to be a meaningful upgrade. If features like a dual camera setup or high frame rate 4K video become official, waiting will be more than worth it. We will keep tracking every leak and confirmation as it happens. But here's the twist. While the internet was busy arguing over blurry photos and coffee cups, something big just happened to DJI, and almost no one saw it coming. DJI quietly pushed 7 brand new products through US certification at the very end of 2025. Not software updates, not minor refreshes, but completely new gear. And here is why that matters. It happened right before a major regulatory crackdown hit the drone world. That timing wasn't luck. It was strategy. And it changes what creators should buy next. Let's start with the most radical one, the DJI Avata 360. Let's get this clear right now. This is not the Avata 3. The DJI Avata 360 is an entirely new category of drone. Honestly, it is the boldest thing DJI has done in years. For the first time ever, DJI has built a true 360-degree flying camera drone. Not a drone with a camera taped on top. Not a Frankenstein setup where you stick a distinct camera on a generic drone, but a fully integrated system designed from the ground up. If you have ever worked with 360 drones, you already know the pain. You deal with external cameras that throw off the balance. You have propellers ruining your shots. You have terrible flight time because of the extra weight. You have stitching nightmares in post-production. And you have footage that looks amazing in theory, but is frustrating to capture in reality. DJI basically looked at all of that and said, yeah, let's fix all of it. The Avata 360 uses dual 1/1.1-inch sensors. That is massive for a 360 drone. It records 8K spherical video at 50 frames per second. That means smooth motion, sharp detail, and real flexibility in post-production. But the coolest part is the mechanics. The camera module physically rotates. With one button, you can switch between full 360-degree capture and a forward-facing FPV-style mode. Imagine the freedom. No langing, no swapping cameras, no reboting. Just flip and fly. Battery life also gets a serious boost with a 38.67 watt-hour battery. This represents about a 26% increase over the Avata 2, which directly solves one of the biggest complaints FPV pilots have had for years. Add in lead DR-based obstacle sensing. And suddenly, this thing understands space in a way most FPV drones simply don't, especially in tight indoor spaces or complex urban environments. Transmission is handled by OcuSync 4 with a theoretical range of up to 20 kilometers, though obviously, local laws apply. Translation, you get a rock-solid signal, low latency, and fewer heart attacks mid-flight. This drone is not for casual flyers. It is built for real estate creators doing VR tours, travel filmmakers who want one-take immersive experiences, action sports shooters chasing bullet time effects, and VR-first content producers who want freedom without hacks. Price W. ISE expects somewhere between $999 to $1,299 internationally, with a likely launch in the first quarter of 2026. Now, let's switch gears to something smaller, but equally game-changing for solo creators. The Osmo Frame Tap. This might sound like a small accessory, but don't let its size fool you. This is one of those quiet upgrades that completely changes how you create content, especially if you film alone. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't try to look futuristic. It doesn't add complicated features you will never use. Instead, it focuses on one simple idea: giving solo creators real control without touching their phone. Designed specifically for the Osmo Mobile 8P, Frame Tap is a wireless remote that works like an invisible assistant. With a simple tap, you can start or stop recording, adjust framing, and trigger supportive features remotely. Think about the problem it solves. No more walking back and forth to your phone. No more awkward reaches mid-shot where you lean in to hit record and then have to edit that part out. No more ruined takes because you bumped the tripod. This changes everything for hands-free filming. Imagine recording a workout set without breaking your form to touch a screen. Imagine filming a cooking video without getting greasy fingers on your smartphone. Or shooting a tutorial where you stay perfectly in frame the entire time. Frame Tap lets you focus on what you are doing, not on managing your gear. That freedom might sound small on paper, but in real-world use, it is a massive upgrade. What makes Osmo Frame Tap special is how natural it feels. It doesn't interrupt your flow. You just tap, adjust, and keep creating. Over time, it fades into the background, and that is the point. The best tools are the ones you stop thinking about because they just work. It is important to be clear, though. Frame Tap is not designed for the Osmo Pocket series. It is built specifically for the Osmo Mobile 8P. At an expected price between $50 and $70, it sits in a sweet spot. It's not essential for everyone, but if you create content alone, even half the time, it quickly becomes hard to live without. Moving on to the heavy hitters, let's talk about the DJI RS5. This isn't about flashy marketing. This is about solving real problems professionals deal with every single shoot day. The first big upgrade is the battery. The RS5 jumps to 33.29 watt-hours compared to the RS4's 21 watt-hours. That is roughly a 58% increase. That means longer days, fewer swaps, and less anxiety when you're rolling on paid work. Then there's the rumored LiDAR autofocus integration built directly into the gimbal arm. This is huge. It means focus assistance even when using manual lenses, vintage glass, or cinema primes. No extra boxes, no duct tape solutions, just cleaner focus and faster setups. DJI also went with carbon fiber construction, making the RS5 about 20% lighter than the RS4 while keeping the same payload capacity. Your arms will thank you after a 12-hour shoot. Expect pricing between $800 and $1,200 internationally, with a likely launch in Q1 or Q2 of 2026. If you're on an RS3 or older, this is a meaningful upgrade. If you already own an RS4 and battery life hasn't bothered you, you can probably skip it. And speaking of upgrades, we have to mention the Osmo Mobile 8P. This is not the regular Osmo Mobile 8. The P stands for Pro, and it is aimed squarely at mobile-first creators who shoot action, sports, or fast-moving content. The biggest upgrade here is stronger motors, capable of handling phones up to 300 grams. This matters now because flagship phones are heavier than ever with their massive camera bumps and batteries. Stabilization algorithms are improved, and there's even talk of LiDAR-based subject tracking, though details are still under wraps. Battery life is expected to improve, and overall tracking should feel smoother and more confident, especially during dynamic movement. Pricing should land around $159, with an international launch expected late March to early April 2026. If you mostly vlog while walking, the standard version is fine. If you chase motion, this one is worth a look. Before we get to the regulation drama, let's clear up some confusion about audio. There is no DJI Mic Mini 2 coming. DJI already launched the DJI Mic Mini in 2025, and it delivers Ultra, a compact design with up to 11.5 hours on the transmitter. Then there is the DJI Mic 3, launched in September 2025 with smaller transmitters and noticeably better audio quality. If you need a mic, buy what exists. Waiting for a Mini 2 is a waste of time. Now, we have to talk about the regulation problem. This is the part nobody likes talking about, but you need to know it. On December 22nd, 2025, the FCC added all foreign-made drones and drone components to its covered list. This is active policy, not a proposal. A product can be FCC certified and still be blocked from sale in the US. That means new DJI products now require special exemptions from the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security. The good news is that existing DJI gear remains legal, safe, and functional. Firmware updates will likely continue, though long-term support is uncertain. The bad news is that buying new DJI products in the US after that date is complicated and possibly impossible without exemptions. International creators in Europe, Asia, Canada, and Australia, you are fine. Products will launch normally throughout 2026. So don't panic buy. Don't feed scalpers. Don't chase rumors. Master the gear you already own. Focus on storytelling and let the dust settle. 2026 is going to be chaotic, competitive, and transformational. And honestly, that is kind of exciting. With the Pocket 4 on the way and the Avata 360 rewriting the rules of flight, we have a lot to look forward to. If you are as excited about this new tech as I am, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment these products actually drop, and share this video with your creator friends who need to know what's coming. Hit that bell icon to stay notified. I'll see you in the next one.